You received your violin in a box, and now finally you have the violin case. You want to open it up, but the bridge is down. Disaster. Stay tuned and I tell you how you can play this nice new violin. Hello, back again. This is Edgar from Cremona, Italy. We did our best to replicate the situation out of daily life of a happy violinist or future violinist who wants to play the violin, orders online. Oh, Dan, you cannot order a violin online. You get the violin shipped, and then after you receive the package in a huge box like this, okay? Wow. And then you get the case, and here you open up, and it's more or less something like this. And you have some packaging material. Very likely they put it inside without any concept. They just put it inside this, so they have a packing list. Packaging material done. And then finally you have here the bow, which is already always like this. Sometimes they put on the tip a little bit of plastic in order to protect it so it can't bounce. And then here your violin, okay? And it's more or less, they ship it like this. If you are lucky. Sometimes they don't even put the tailpiece something underneath, and this tailpiece is scratching on the first surface. But since you don't know anything, you're a greenhorn in violin playing, you don't even think about it. But actually it should be somehow protected, because this is already a very raw way to ship a violin. Loosen the pegs like a half turn. See if it's already a little bit more flexible, the whole thing. If it's not, you do another quarter turn or something like this. So you loosen all the 4 strings. Now it's a little bit more loose. You lift the tailpiece slightly and take out this protection material, which you can just put into the box. Always consider, don't throw anything away, because it could be that you have to ship it back, so then you just pack it the same way. And very likely, if it's not like this here underneath the strings, a small package which you would love to throw away, don't throw it away. Inside, it's a very particular, very important detail. It's the bridge, okay? If it's not underneath the strings here, then look inside the violin case or even in the shipping box. We open this up. Don't use a cutter. No cutter, please, on the violin bridge or on the violin, on the whole thing here now. No cutter, but we don't do it on violins. Now here, stay aware that it falls down, because usually it always falls to the hard, thick end, which are the feet, and they would damage the corners of this very delicate part of the violin. Now this here is a Scala Perfetta of my workshop. This one is actually a vintage one from one of my very first series. Now here, this is the violin bridge. If you pay a little bit attention to how it is made, very likely your bridge is not as beautiful as one I keep in my hands. This one is marked with a brand mark, Edgar, which is me, so it's very precious. Still, take a little bit of time and watch a little bit the bridge. It might be that one side is a little bit lower and the other one is a little bit higher. That might be, but doesn't must to be. In my case, it's pretty equilibrated. So you have to pay a little bit attention which side goes where. Now, if the bridge has something written on, like here, Aubert, France, Mircourt, this usually goes to the tailpiece this side, and the name of the violin maker, it goes to the fingerboard. But I don't want to put my hands into the fire in this moment that this is for everybody, because there's always somewhere someone who makes it the opposite. The real way to judge it is that the feet are usually cut 90 degrees. So one side is 90 degrees to the feet, and the other one is like a Bavarian belly, a little bit like this. This is in this case here on the front side. I don't know if you can see that. Here it is more thick bounce, and this one is straight. And if I would put it here on a flat area, it would be a little bit inclined to one side. This inclined direction is going to the tailpiece. You know, exaggerated, we put the bridge like this, okay? If I put it the other way around, the fits wouldn't fit that well, and it would be a little bit to the front, and we don't want that, because by pulling up the strings, the bridge tends to go towards the fingerboard. So now we put the bridge underneath the 4 strings. We put all the 4 strings here, and we pay attention that the G string is straight, that the deepest string goes to the first notch of the bridge. Pay attention before you look at, there are 4 notches on it. So now we put the bridge underneath, somewhere under the bridge, and we pull it up. Now, I put it up for purpose in the wrong position, completely inclined. You can see that this can't be true, right? Now, on my instrument, you even see the old marks of the bridge foots where the bridge was. Now, before you adjust everything, stay calm and reflect and listen. The position of the bridge here is crucial for your sound. And before we keep on doing, we want to know all the measurements. We're talking here about a full-size violin. A full-size violin usually has a neck measured on this side from the edge of the top to the very end of the fingerboard, but not the upper nut. And it's 130 millimeters. The bridge position is made out of 2 measurements. One is the neck length, and the other one is, we call it diapason, which means from always this edge of the top all the way down to usually where the notches of the F-holes are. Yeah. Now the inner ones, the outer side, they're just for beauty. The one inside are usually at 195 millimeters. Again, we know the measurements, but usually out there in life, people don't measure that precise as I measure. And even so, I don't have my glasses now. I can see that this one is pretty good measurement, okay? If you go straight down, if you incline it to there, it will result longer. So you have to go straight, then you put your sign, and then you see, okay, this is 195. This is a full-size violin. 196 could be German. 193, it's not correct. You only measure on one side, not on the other side. That side is the one which counts. And Italians are always, somehow like this. They just park the car somewhere on the road and a little bit, come on, I have other more important things. So they didn't never pay that much attention. Take a Guarnieri, and this is 192, and the other one is a 194. And then important, what counts is not where the notches are. The notches could be everywhere or couldn't be even existing. What counts is where the bridge is standing, right? The bridge has a certain thickness. The thickness should be on a super fine instrument as we make here in Cremona, 4.2 millimeters. Nothing more and nothing less. Chinese violin could be even 6 millimeters. They just take the raw bridge, they put some sandpaper, fit the feet, which from my point of view is not fitted, but this is just raw making. But it's okay, they make it for very little money, already something which could work. And maybe the instrument you have in your hands right now is something like this. And big passions start like this, so don't talk bad about it. For a little amount of money, a lot of people can start playing a violin. Now, we focus on how it should be. It should be that the imaginary line of 195 measured from this corner, parallel to this C, which goes a little bit like this, should be 1.5 millimeter, a little bit less than that, behind that line, in order that 1/3 of the thickness of the feet is behind that line and 2/3 in front. Now you say, come on, Edgar, it's so complicated. I don't want. We make it easier, make it different. If you don't want to measure all that, pay attention that this bridge is not inclined as I put it before, but try to make it straight. You put it as it is, right? You look from the side, from that side, from the G string side, you look if it is nicely inclined. You take my business card or yours, or mine is of course better, and you look that this is 90 degrees, okay? And then you start tuning. You just go here a quarter turn on every little bit. And before tuning, look again at the bridge. In case you see that it is coming to the front, which is already here a little bit the case, and then you take both hands, and on the upper part of the bridge, you just move it slowly, a little bit back. Don't do too much immediately. And again, look from the G string if it's, again, the backside 90 degrees. This 90 degrees serves to be that this angle here is completely divided into equal parts. It's a bridge, and the bridge should divide this angle into equal parts, okay? Now, I explain you that because now you could take a meter and measure the string length, and the string length is actually at the very end determining if it's a full size, a 3/4, a half, a viola, or whatever. So if you measure from the beginning where the string starts to vibrate up to the bridge, and the bridge is like this, let's say, you measure where the string starts to vibrate free, it should be 328 millimeters, or 32.8 centimeters. This is the string length of a full-size violin. So if you don't want to look exactly where this bridge foot here on the back side ends up, which is the 195 plus a little bit less than 1.5 millimeters, then you have to put it a little bit back. You put the instrument on your lap. The full string length should result at 328 millimeters. And that's the only thing you have to look. Slowly tune it up, and this should be all perfect. If you watch this video and it is all nice, and then you realize it doesn't sound like a violin, then very likely inside something is wrong, and that's because the sound post has fallen down. So go to my channel again and search how to put the sound post in the right position all by yourself. I even show you without super professional tools, you could make it yourself. Is there anything else I could give advice? There was a tiny part. If these pegs now, when you're tuning them, you could use, definitely will have an old piece of soap, dried, and chalk. With these two things, you could make it more slippery with the soap and more sticky with the chalk. It's a very old system to adjust the pegs. And another small detail is here on the upper nut, I think that it's important that this spring is slipping very nice. So you take one of my pencils and you just go a little bit and put some graphite and it will slip and slide very great. If you have other questions, just type in my channel a few questions. You will pop off the right video where I help you to salvage your instrument. Meanwhile, I hope you enjoy playing violin. And if you're ready for a great sounding instrument, just check my website and you can see and listen to the last instruments which are right away available for you. I'm looking forward to see you one day. Tell your friends about this channel and subscribe. You owe me that. Ciao. Ciao, ciao.